This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin here on the afternoon show with my boy Chris and his father Tony. Holding down the fort today, talking some sports. I'm looking forward to it. It's raining. It's 50. I told you, Tony, if I was up north right now, we'd be in a blizzard. But how you folks doing?
Doing pretty good. It's about 26 here, I think, last time I looked. But it's wind's not blowing real hard, so it's not too bad. But I did hear the wind's supposed to pick up, and we're talking maybe possibly 10 below overnight with the wind chill. So
hell no.
Might get pretty cold. But guys, let's get right into it. Thursday night football game. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the Detroit Lions, and let's call it what it is, guys. This is a playoff game for both teams. If either one of these teams loses this game, they're more than likely done for the playoffs. I think Dallas would go down to maybe 10%, 14% chance, something like that. Detroit wouldn't go down quite as bad, but they would, in the division they're in and everything, they'd be in bad shape too. So a big game. It is at, I believe, Detroit. So I think that's a little bit of advantage for Detroit. Detroit's banged up. They're one of the best receivers, may not play. He's questionable with the ankle. So Dallas offense has been good. Detroit's defense hasn't been. I don't know. Jay, what's your take on this game? Who do you think wins this game?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys, this is their game, right? I mean, this is their prove it to the world. Hey, I know everybody was counting us out. I know even Philly sports guys said Dallas would implode during this season and that they were going to go through a rebuilding operation, which, going into this season, I got to be honest with you, I was in the same mindset. I felt like that the Cowboys were going to go downhill fast because I felt like the salary cap was getting away from them. I felt like they lost their key player in Parsons. But, and their defense was atrocious to start the season. And now, with the addition of, obviously, they got rid of Parsons, and now they brought in Kenyon Williams, they brought in Logan Wilson, and so forth. And obviously, the addition of Kenny Clark. I mean, the run game is on point. The defense is actually looking pretty good right now. This is the best I've seen the Cowboys, but they need to win this game tonight. They just came out to win against Philly and the Chiefs. Both, good games. Patrick Mahomes is a hard one to take down. Even when the deck looks against him, Pat always finds ways to get the team back into it. I think we've seen that time and time again with the Chiefs. I got to tell you, with this Detroit team, even though St. Brown may or may not play, I think it's looking more and more like he's not going to play. From all the things I've seen, Laporta obviously is not going to be there. Matter of fact, Laporta is done for this season. They think that he can get back in the playoffs, but according to the head coach Campbell, he says most likely you aren't going to see him until next year. So they have obviously taken some hits on that offense. I think if Detroit's going to win this game, it's got to go through Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to have a heavy dose of that run game to eat up the clock and hopefully let their defense do what they do. And again, we have a strong run defense, so that may not work into their advantage. That could be the thing that hurts them. For the Cowboys, Dak has to come out and play aggressive, right? I mean, you got to use your two best weapons that you got. Use them and use them well. Jason Williams, use them. The defense, because and I tell you, the thing about Dallas is because our secondary is so less, we have to run the ball more. We have to eat up as much clock and keep that offense off. So, for all that being said, I think Dallas could win tonight, and I think they have to win tonight because if you look at the schedule after tonight, there's really not anybody on that slate that Dallas is going to play that they can't beat. I think they said 50% or better against all the teams that they're going to play after that. I think they got the Commanders, they still got the Giants, and a couple of the small teams in there. But this is their last, in my opinion, true opponent before we get to the playoffs. So they have to win tonight.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you, but them are rivalry games, so you never know. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Detroit's the biggest test as far as on paper goes. I don't
Right.
disagree with that. But I think the key for Detroit is, like you said, the running game. But I think maybe the biggest key for Detroit is their defense. Their defense has to find a way to step up, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to shut down their wide receivers. They just can't let them. They just can't let them get away from them. They got to hold them in check. I mean, you may give up yards, Ben, but you can't break. If they can hold Dallas away from the big play. The other big key is, I think, if I think I'm correct on this, Jay, you can tell me. I think the last two games that Dallas had won had both been home games, Kansas City and Philadelphia. So I do. So this is a road game, so that's a little different. Dallas has been playing real well at home, but as of late. So I think this is a test. Can Dallas do it on the road? Detroit has not looked good lately. I agree with you. They got to find a way to run the football. So, man, I don't know on this game. I think just going by momentum, I'm going with Dallas. I think a real close game by a field goal. Chris, what do you think?
No, I think it's going to be a good game, but I like Detroit here in this game. And main reason I'm going with Detroit, one of the reasons is they're getting healthier. They're getting some of their a couple of their offensive linemen back tonight. Not sure if St. Brown's going to play. It sounds like he's going to try to play. He's questionable, but they're getting a few of their guys back. And I think they're going to get Jahmyr Gibbs going tonight. And I think they have to get him going if they're going to win this game. They got to use him kind of like San Francisco uses McCaffrey. Gibbs needs to touch the ball about 30 times tonight between catching the ball and running it. But I think that Lions defense is going to play a little bit better because, like I said, I think that he has some of his guys back. So I think Shepard will get a good game plan. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go with the Lions in a close game.
I got a question for Chris, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
And so if St. Brown doesn't play, let's say he's just out. If you're, from a fantasy perspective, if you have Jameson Williams, what do you think they can expect from him?
Oh, I'd play Williams. Even if Brown plays. But yeah, if without Brown and without Laporta, Williams is going to be one of the main targets.
Yeah, well,
I'm just wondering if he's going to get double teamed and maybe one of the lesser wide receivers gets more of the attention because maybe they're going to zone more in on him. Do you think that could be a thing?
I mean, it could be, but Williams is pretty damn good. I think he's a little underrated.
Oh, I know.
He's pretty good at route runner as well at getting open. But yeah, like I said, it'd be interesting. But yeah, I think he's going to get a lot of targets.
Yeah, after St. Brown went out of that game, Williams played really well. Looked really good after the game the other night. He looked really well. One other thing, real quick, guys, that I did notice today on that Dallas-Detroit game, more focused at Detroit, is the last 7 times Detroit has went for it on 4th down, they're 0 for 7. So, I mean, the first half of the season, they were pretty good. 11 of 16, 11 of 17, whatever, did pretty well. But in the last 7 attempts, they're 0 of 7. So it's not working out. So they're still about 50% for the year, but yeah, they're not doing well as of late. But I don't think it'll change. Do you guys? I think Campbell will continue to go for it. I think that's just who he is. Whether I agree with him or not, I don't always agree with him, especially if your team is struggling at times. Maybe that's not the time to do it, but that's just the coach.
That's interesting you said that because you're right. He is an extremely aggressive coach, and I don't think he's going to stop being who he is. I think that's what got him to where he's at, and I think in his mind, he's like, look, my approach has gotten us where we are. Why would I change now? Because I don't think that's his identity. On the flip side, it's going to be interesting to see a guy who is that aggressive go up against a guy like Brian Schottenheimer, who isn't an aggressive guy, who is a more conservative type of coach. So I wonder how the conservative and the aggressive is going to play out. And by the way, Joe, this is the NFL, not the NBA, man. These scores you're giving, man, they're like NBA scores, killer. He's kind of 51-24. Lord have mercy. Continue, please.
All right. Guys, let's move on to a little college football. We got a couple games Friday that could have some play into the playoffs, so I thought we'd mention them. We got Troy at James Madison. James Madison's got an outside shot of making the playoff bracket. And then the other game's North Texas at Tulane. Tulane's definitely got a pretty good chance if they can win. So, Chris, what your takes on this for Troy and James Madison, and what do you think about the North Texas Tulane game on Friday?
Tulane has a lot to play for because they win that game, they're in. They're going to be in the playoff because they'll be the highest ranked non-Power 5 or whatever it is. So as long as they win, they'll be in. I'm not sure if North Texas wins, would they be in, or I think
I'm not sure if they automatically go.
I think somebody's ranked higher than them, maybe.
Yeah, I think I think James Madison's ranked higher, aren't they? Or is
James Madison? No, James Madison is 25. North Texas is 24.
So I don't know.
I think for James Madison to get in, I think they need Duke
to win.
I think that'd be the. I think if I remember, I think that's why I heard somebody say yesterday. James Madison needed Duke to lose or to win. Win.
Yeah. So it sounds like North Texas needs to.
I think the winner of that game. I think the winner of that game is in. But I think Tulane's gonna win. But I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'll be a good game. I may watch a little bit of that on Friday night. I think it's Friday night, and I think James Madison beats Troy. I really do. I've seen James Madison. They got a good team. Troy's not terrible, but I think James Madison's better. So I think James Madison wins that, and I'm gonna go with Tulane.
They have James Madison as 23.5 point favorites against Troy.
What about the Tulane game?
They play Friday night at 7. North Texas and Tulane. North Texas is actually a 2.5 point favorite on the road.
Okay.
And that game starts at 8:00 tomorrow night.
Okay.
And it's number 20 against number 24.
Well, I'm going with James Madison. I'm gonna go with Tulane. But said North Texas, they're not a bad team. I've seen them play once.
I think that's going to be a real good game. But I lean toward Tulane because it's at home.
Yep.
And then I think James Madison's going to put it on Troy.
Yeah. Jay, what's your take on these two games?
No, I was just looking at the things, and I see it the same way you guys have it. I think James Madison, Tulane gets it. I think if Duke, like I think Chris hit it right on the nail, if Duke can beat West Virginia, I think that's who they're playing, right? West Virginia? No, Virginia. Yeah. So if Duke beats Virginia, then I think you got James Madison and Tulane getting those two championship spots that they have available in the playoffs. Yeah. And some of the shows that I've been watching, a lot of them have that James Madison and Tulane being those in those two spots. So I think we're kind of spot on.
But what they could do is they could put a team like, if Duke was to beat Virginia, they could put a team like Miami in that spot and keep James Madison out.
That's possible.
But how would they do that though? Because if you have two championship spots,
because the spot is for the spot that Virginia and Duke's playing for is the ACC championship spot.
Okay.
But they got a rule in there where if a team like Duke that's not ranked and was to win that conference championship, if there's another team from that conference that's ranked higher, they can put them in instead. So that they can put Miami in.
I see what you're saying. So basically, they're going to give a substitute team for that team if Virginia loses.
But they could decide to just do like James Madison and leave the ACC out of it if Duke was to lose.
That's what they should do.
So, but I think they would probably go with Miami. I think they'll go with Miami because they have Miami ranked 12th.
Yeah. Let's be honest, right? Miami's a better team than James Madison anyway. Honestly, I'd rather see Miami in there than James Madison. I think James Madison would just be a filler game. I mean, not to say that Cinderella can't take it, but I think that's more of a filler game if James Madison gets in.
I think the only way Miami gets in is if BYU beats Texas Tech.
Well, that's a good segue, guys, because I was getting ready to segue into that game. Saturday, I'm going to start some Saturday games. BYU at Texas Tech. Texas Tech beat them pretty good earlier in the year. BYU had like 3 or 4 turnovers in that game. So, Chris, who do you think wins this game, Texas Tech or BYU?
Actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think Miami's getting in.
Okay.
Because even if BYU beats Texas Tech, then BYU is going to get a spot, and they're not going to move Texas Tech out. So that's going to move probably Notre Dame out. So Notre Dame or Miami wouldn't get in. And if Texas Tech beats BYU, it's all going to depend on if the committee moves BYU down or not. And because a lot of times they've been not punishing teams for losing in the conference championship. So if they leave BYU at 11, Notre Dame's going to get in. And even if they bump BYU down a spot and move Miami to 12 or to 11, I think the committee's still going to put Notre Dame in over Miami. So I don't think Miami gets in. But the BYU Texas Tech game, I think Texas Tech beats them again. Texas Tech, I don't know if you watched any of that game, but they beat them pretty bad. They beat them like 28-7 or something. But that game could have been
29-7.
50-7. That game could have been 50-7. Texas Tech settled for some field goals, didn't convert some opportunities that they had. So I mean, that game could have been a lot worse than what it was.
I agree.
I don't see BYU being it, especially at Texas Tech. I don't think they're going to be able to make up that much ground.
The only chance BYU's got.
Notre Dame needs it to be a close game. Because if it's a close game, then there's no way they're going to drop BYU.
Yeah.
So, and Miami is hoping for a big ass blowout.
Yeah. I think the only chance BYU's got to win this game is, first of all, you can't turn the ball over, and they've got to control the clock and run the football. But Texas Tech's got a pretty good defense. I don't know. I know BYU relies on the run, so I just don't know if that run is going to be able to come through for them. So I'm going with Texas Tech. I don't think it'll be quite as bad as last time, but I still think it'll be by 10 points or more. So I'm going with Tech. Jay?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I noted about that first meeting between Tech and BYU is that LJ Martins, I think his last name is it Martins? If I'm not mistaken, the running back for BYU, I think it's LJ something. I want to say it's Martins. Either way, he was actually dealing with the shoulder injury during that when that game was played. So they didn't really have their best rusher in that game. And I think a lot of times when you take that rusher out of it, especially when that's one of your biggest weapons, you know, that did hurt. Now that doesn't mean that BYU was going to win that game, even if LJ played. But I think it probably would have been a lot closer game, you know, had he been there at 100%. But even with that being said, Texas Tech they're playing at a good level right now, defensively, offensively. They're playing very, very well, and I fully expect them to win this game. And I don't think BYU. I'm just at BYU. I don't think the competition they played, or I just don't, like Notre Dame. I just don't believe those teams should be there, but they played the schedule they played, and they're in there. So it is what it is. But I definitely think Texas Tech takes care of business.
You can say the same thing about Texas Tech. Oh, they ain't played nobody.
Yeah.
True, but who do you believe in more, BYU or Texas Tech?
I believe in Notre Dame more because you mentioned Notre Dame. I believe in Notre Dame more than either one of those teams.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame's better than either one of those teams, but it is what it is.
I think Texas Tech is better than BYU, but you mentioned Notre Dame.
I did
a minute ago.
No, absolutely, and it's okay
I think Notre Dame's a better team than Texas Tech. I do. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys, next game, Duke. Believe it's at Virginia. I think Virginia blows them out, guys. I think they beat them by 14 or more. I like Virginia. Jay, what about you?
Oh yeah, the Virginia Duke game, absolutely. No, I am definitely gonna go with Virginia on that game. I think Duke has I believe it's the leading quarterback and wide receiver out of the two, if I'm not mistaken. I know in categories they lead two of them. I know one of them was a quarterback. I can't remember if the other one was the running back or the wide receiver, but they lead them in yardage. So I think they have Duke has a good offense. It's just, can their defense match up with what their offense is doing? And I think ultimately Virginia is the more well-balanced team. And so that's why I'm going with Virginia.
Yeah, Duke's not a bad team. I've seen them play Illinois and should have probably beat Illinois earlier in the year. but they made a lot of mistakes. They're really inconsistent. They can look really, really good, and they can look really, really bad. They're not a consistent team. They've lost games that they shouldn't have lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to, and they could step up. But I still like Virginia, especially at Virginia at home. Chris.
Yeah, I like Virginia as well. The spread's only 4.5 points though, so I mean, Vegas is expecting a close game. And like you said, the big thing for Duke is going to be if they take care of the football. Their problem when they lose is they turn the ball over.
Yep.
Like you said against Illinois, they'd have beat Illinois probably by double digits if they wouldn't turn the ball over and didn't have some stupid penalties. So they're going to have to definitely clean that up. They're not going to be able to turn the ball over against Virginia and beat them. But yeah, I like Virginia at home.
Okay, next game up, guys, is Georgia against Alabama. Chris, do you know where this game is played at? Is it played at a neutral field or is it a?
No, that's in Atlanta. It's
Okay.
at Mercedes-Benz where the Falcons play. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of a home game for Georgia, but there'll be a lot of Alabama people there too. So I don't know if it's a big advantage. This is an interesting game, guys. I can see it going either way. I know Alabama, I believe, beat them earlier in the year. Alabama can be a little inconsistent at times, but they also find a way to win games. I didn't think Georgia looked real great against Georgia Tech, but I'm going with Georgia. Georgia by a field goal. Jay.
Yeah, nothing against DeBoer and company, but I watched Georgia play when they played Texas, and Georgia I like Kirby Smart, man. As a coach, I really wish I wish we had him. You can have Sarkisian. Give me Kirby Smart any day. I love that guy as a coach, you know. I like his play calling. I like the way he takes chances. I love that onside kick, like I said that he did. I don't think anybody was expecting that. Obviously, they retained the ball at that. The guy could kick a really beautiful onside. Technically, I just think that Georgia is a very technically a great team. Nothing against Alabama and DeBoer, but I've seen Alabama look beatable several times this year. And I just feel like Georgia just has a little bit more swag to them. I think they have a little bit more physicality to them. But ultimately, I just think Kirby Smart is a better coach than DeBoer.
Okay. Chris?
I think Alabama beats Georgia for the second time this year.
Okay.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be by a field goal. Like I'm the same as you. I think it's going to be a 3-point game, but I'm just on the other side. Georgia's a good team. Both these teams are real good. You know, I felt like Alabama was right there as the third best team in the country for a long time this season, and I'd put Georgia right up there as well. But Georgia's offense can be a little inconsistent. That quarterback can. Some days he can look real good. Other days he struggles. That's the only thing that worries me a little bit. I think Alabama's offense has been a little more consistent. Alabama's big thing though is they can't turn the ball over. They turn the ball over in this game, they're going to have trouble. But I mean, Alabama being able to go to Georgia and beating them in Athens earlier in the season showed me a lot as well. I know it's at a neutral site, but it's basically a home game for Georgia.
It really is. It's not far from it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real good football game, but I think Alabama wins by a late field goal.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if if Alabama win this game. They're a good team, so I wouldn't be shocked either way. Guys, the last college game we're going to go over, it's the big one. A lot of people are looking forward to this Saturday night. I know me and Chris is. IU taking on Ohio State. It is going to be in where the Colts play. But, I mean, there'll be a lot of IU people there, but there's going to be a ton of Ohio State. So I don't know if there's a big advantage there. There's going to be a ton of people there. Should be a great game. At least I hope for a great game. Definitely hope for my homer's coming out. I hope for an IU win. I think it's going to be tough. Ohio State's a very good football team. They haven't been beaten 2 years. So they're definitely going to be the favorite. But I think IU's got a really good chance. I'm going IU by 4. Chris?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. I done went and got me a box of jalapeno popcorn for Saturday night to eat while I watch this game. No, this game I've been looking forward to. We got to play Ohio State last year. Last year was the first year Indiana where we that we were actually nationally prominent. We made it to the playoffs and everything, but we got to play them in the regular season. First half, pretty much the first half, we was right there with them, and then we we turned the ball over, and then they pulled away from us a little bit. But we actually gave them one of their best games last year. This year we're a totally different team. Last year our first big game was against Ohio State. This year this is not the case. We've already played some big games. We went to Oregon, beat Oregon at Oregon, where Ohio State hasn't been able to do that over the last couple of years. So I mean that was a big win. So we've been tested this year where Ohio State hasn't, and I think that's going to could come to our advantage on Saturday. When this is a close game, we've been in a close game like that. Ohio State really hasn't, other than the Texas game in the beginning of the year. You could say it was close. It was 14-7, but Ohio State had the lead most of that game. They never really trailed in that game. Where Indiana was tied with Oregon with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Ended up winning that game by 10. We were down. We led the whole game against Penn State. Penn State took the lead with 4 minutes left in that game. Was able to come back. So we've had to be resilient, where Ohio State hasn't really had to show that yet. But no, I think it's going to be a good game. Ohio State's defense is tough, but Indiana's defense is pretty good too. But yeah, I like Indiana in this game, and I'm gonna go Indiana by. I'm gonna say Indiana by field goal. I'm gonna go Indiana by 3.
Okay, Jay, I wanted to pipe in real quick. Who's favored? Ohio State, I would imagine.
Actually, no, Indiana by
Ohio State's
a hair.
4.5 point favorite.
Oh, are they? I thought Indiana was okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
One thing I think the key to this game, Chris, and you talked about it last year when we lost, it was the teams that overpowered us. This was bigger up on the lines. And I think this is going to be the key. I think our lines are a lot better, a lot bigger, but we're playing one of the better teams with offensive and defensive line. I mean, they knock people off the ball. So I think it's the front lines, how we do up on the front lines, offensive line, defensive line, is going to be the big key to this game. And there's one other key, I think, too, and that's how our back end plays against. I think Ohio State's going to take some shots down the field, and we got to be able not to give up the big play. We have given up big plays a couple times this year, and most of the time it's been on blown coverages. It's not been because we didn't guard the guys. So we got to make sure they communicate and don't give up any big touchdowns that way. I think if we can handle, I'm not going to say we're going to overpower them. I'm not expecting that, but we just can't get overpowered. That's what happened when we lost last year to Notre Dame and Ohio State. We got overpowered. So if we can handle that, I think we got a really good chance. Jay?
Yeah. Nothing against Indiana. I mean, like I said, you got Signetti in second year, I believe, now there. You guys are a number 2 team in the nation. I mean, that's incredible. That's an incredible feat. And it's a legitimate feat. Unlike my Longhorns, who were ranked number 1 at the season, obviously they're probably ranked more like 14 to 15 legitimately. So I got to give mad respect and credit to Indiana. And I mean, no disrespect when I say what I'm about to say, because I think your program has really come a long way. But at the same time, this is fucking Ohio State, man. This is John Day. This is the guy whose defense is a defensive guru. No offense, but he is. If you don't think John Day's a defensive guy,
who the fuck is John? Who the fuck is John Day?
John Daly, whatever his name is, Ryan Day, John Day, whatever. Sure as hell wasn't Knight. Leave me alone, damn it.
He got half of it right now.
I told you I'll mess up the first name, but I'll get the last name. So just my last name. Art Day. So Art Day.
Art Vandelay.
I don't know why Chris getting mad at me. The dude knows I suffer from severe brain trauma. Anyway, that's besides the point. No, look, they're going up against one of the best defensive minds in the game. He must be on the roll laughing. But anyway, they're going against one of the best defensive minds in the game. Look, this is Ohio. They're going for their 1,000th win. These dudes get the Big Ten championship crown 3 times out of every single decade. It's hard for me to just go on and be on the Indiana wagon when you guys are fresh on the scene and you're going to pick that team that is a Big Ten juggernaut and has been a Big Ten juggernaut for a long period of time. So, it's kind of like if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I'm sorry. He says that they haven't been tested. I'm sorry. Ohio State, if you don't think Ohio State's a tested team, they're a tested team. They are. Okay.
Who tested them this year?
Let's see who. I know Texas tested them. Who else is Ohio State? Because they won. Was it 14-7?
Yeah, that was
that is a ranked team. Okay, I mean, again, they missed the playoffs by a little.
Wait a minute. When I said my thing, didn't I say that the only team that got close to testing was Texas? Didn't I say that?
I think you said that yesterday.
No, I said that just a minute ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I only get about every other word, man. My bad. I don't have that high level.
The closest game they had was the Texas game, 14-7. The reason I said they really didn't get tested is they didn't trail in that game.
No, I understand what you're saying.
You're
right. I mean, they beat Illinois 34-16. They beat Wisconsin 34-0. Obviously, they crushed Penn State 38-14. Purdue 34-10. I mean, we all know Purdue's a pretty good team, right? UCLA 48.
They beat Purdue 50-10.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if they got 10 points.
I mean, you are the number 2 team in the nation. I would have to imagine. I'm just saying. I mean, because you're asking me about Ohio, and I start talking about Ohio, and then you want to jump to compare it to Indiana. I'm not comparing anything to Indiana. We're just talking about Ohio.
No, I'm not. No, I was just saying because you said Purdue was a good team. I was letting you know Purdue's not a good team. Purdue sucks in football. They're good in basketball.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad in football right now.
Yeah, they're
and
they're
I
bad
mean,
in football.
so again, babe, so they beat Michigan 27-9. I mean, you can go look. I'll tell you right now, man. Look, I agree with what you're saying, and again, I don't mean any disrespect to Indiana. I mean, you guys, your program is amazing. What you're doing over there is amazing. But I just feel like, Ohio has the experience. That team is incredible. And I mean, I get what you're saying, right? In terms of being tested, I get that. But I'd be like I told Chris, it's not like this team wasn't around last year when they got tested all the way through. So let's not act like this team is not a tested team.
Ohio State don't have a player on that team that's won a Big Ten championship.
But they do have 3 Big Ten championships for every decade.
But what I'm saying is this team this year, there's not one player on that team that has won a Big Ten championship before.
True, but yet they're the number 1 team in the nation.
I know they are, and they might be.
Okay, so
never mind. You're not getting my point.
No, go ahead.
You're talking about all their experience. This team don't have that experience, is what I'm saying.
They've got the coaching staff.
They got the coaching staff.
I think that's what I was more referencing was the coaching staff. But I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying about the players. Yeah, because this is Cignetti's second year, so there are probably a lot of guys returning from last year. I get what you're saying. I guess we're going to find out Saturday night.
Hey guys,
I'll tell you Ohio State's a good team. I know they are. I've watched them every year, so it's going to be.
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked I'll be straight up. I wouldn't be shocked if Ohio State won the whole damn thing again. Second year in a row, win the national championship. It's possible. Even if IU beat them this game, they could come back and win the national. I would rather lose this game by 3 points, touchdown, whatever, and make a run into the playoffs than I would to win this game and not do anything in the playoffs.
This could be a preview of the national championship game.
Absolutely.
It's not impossible.
It could be possible if who wins this game.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time in over a decade that number 1 and number 2 have gone at it before in a championship game before they got into the playoff. I want to say it's been well over 10 years since number 1 and number 2 have gone at it.
Should be,
which is pretty crazy. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it should be interesting. Hopefully, IU shows up and we play well, and then let it fall where it falls. When we get beat, we get beat. But I'm excited. We're there.
This is only the 3rd time ever in Big Ten history that number 1 versus number 2 in the Big Ten championship game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is this is like history making. So there's a lot on this game, right? I mean, if you ask me what game is the most important, it is this game because you got 1 and 2, and there's a lot to be decided there. But I also think that second game, most importantly, is that Georgia-Bama game. I think those are the 2 most critical games.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Looking forward to Saturday. Guys, I want to talk a little bit more college football, but a little bit on the signings that happened yesterday, the early signings, the winners and the losers. Guys, you may have looked it up, but I don't know. I'll ask you, who do you think is considered to be the top class? Who got the top class in college football early signings yesterday?
USC.
Yes. Yep, USC was considered. They got a 35-member class, heavy on linemen. I know they got 7 offensive linemen, 8 defensive linemen, and they also got a real good wide receiver, Caden Dixon Wyatt. So he was considered one of the best wide receivers. So they had a big day. Another one that surprised me is Vanderbilt, who did very well. Got the guy that's considered the top quarterback prospect, Jared Curtis. They got him. Other teams was, of course, top 3 of the 6 classes was USC, Oregon, and Ohio State. So Oregon and Ohio State stay rich, you know. So that was interesting. Also, another team that surprised me that had a great day, West Virginia, brought in 40 people. So they did very well. And the losers, Penn State, Baylor, and Baylor and Syracuse are considered the big losers. So, Chris, anything that stands out to you? I was really shocked at USC. I mean, I know they're coming a long way, but I was a little surprised by that. I was a little surprised by West Virginia too. Not surprised by Oregon or Ohio State. That didn't surprise me a whole lot. And Vanderbilt, man, you go out there and in the SEC to get the top quarterback prospect. I think they got him away from Georgia, so because he was supposed to go to Georgia, if I remember correctly. So, anything that stood out to you, Chris?
Vanderbilt did because of what you just said. They got they got that guy to flip from Georgia, but then they also got another guy to flip from Alabama. So
Okay.
for Vanderbilt to be able to get get kids to flip from going to Georgia and Alabama, if you just said that 3 years ago, people would have laughed at you. So I think that was pretty big. USC, I know they ended up getting I think a wide receiver that was going to go to Ohio State as well. So that was big for them. Another thing that stuck out to me, and I'm not saying this just because I'm an IU fan, but Indiana, they got signed 22 guys yesterday, and 7 of them were 4-star players. That's more 4-star players than they've signed over the last 5 years in one class. So and then they had a bunch of 3-star guys. So they had their recruiting class is considered 5th or 6th in the Big Ten. We had a real good recruiting class this year. So, and they got a couple players that were going to that one guy was supposed to go to Tennessee. They flipped him from Tennessee to come to IU. There was another guy I think was going to go to Georgia. So they're getting where they can start to flip some of these guys from going to some of these schools that have maybe a bigger name. So I thought IU had a good day yesterday as well.
One thing that stood out to me as we talked about USC is what they did getting 15 linemen, 7 offensive, 8 defensive. Where was their weakness? Getting knocked off the ball. That's their weakness. So they went out and I know a couple of the offensive linemen were considered some of the best offensive linemen coming in. So they got 2 top recruits on the offensive line. They went out and got defensive linemen. USC's got a very good offense. I mean, they got one of the best offenses in the country, but they couldn't compete up front. So now they're going out and getting that. So I like seeing teams seeing, hey, what our weaknesses are and trying to fix them. And it looked like they definitely did.
That was and that was another thing I wanted to say about IU. That's what I liked about their class too. All them 4-star guys are all defensive linemen and linebackers.
Yep. Jay, your take on the college signings?
Yeah, I thought Texas did an exceptional job. They came in at number 2 behind SC in terms of commits. Obviously, they had needs along that offensive line. They clearly still have needs on the defensive side, which I felt like they were able to address. They flipped that one guy from Oregon. Was it that defensive end, Richard Wesley, the explosive guy? So I'm curious to see how he does. They got the top offensive prospect in QB Diabell. They got 300 commits. I like the way they're continuously building this team to support it. So we'll see what happens. They got some pretty good wide receivers in Chris Stewart and Jermaine Bishop Jr., which, as you know, we lost a lot of receivers last year. I think our top receiver this year was Wingo. So it's good to see them stacking up some wide receivers to help Arch Manning out to continue his progression as he learns the game, as he continues to get better in the college level. So I'm happy with what they did. They needed to address the defense. They needed to address the wide receivers, and they did that. So I'm looking forward to see what they do. But I like Texas. I also like what US or SC's doing to Lincoln Riley, and so forth. I thought it was interesting that I think Notre Dame had like the number 4 class. I think A&M had the 6th class. But if you look at like the top 12 to 15, the SEC is still commanding a lot of the top recruits. I mean, that's like almost damn near every school is SEC.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I know the Big Ten had 3 of the top 6, so they're doing pretty good too. But I think overall USC still kind of beats them out overall. Guys, let's move on. We got a little NBA talk about, got a little UFC, and a little bit of baseball. So let's jump into the NBA. What I had here was I seen a report out from CBS, and they ranked their top 5 teams as that would be spots for Giannis to get traded to. I'll give you the list and see what you guys think. Number 5, they had the Lakers. I think the problem with the Lakers, they're just not going to have enough to give. I think that's why they're back at 5. One surprised me a little bit. I didn't really think about them. Detroit's a young team. You add him to that team, that would take them next level. I don't know what you would have to give up to get him, though. That would be the key. Number 3, I was a little bit surprised by this. The Houston Rockets was considered number 3 on their list to be a landing spot for Giannis. Number 2 was one I talked about yesterday, San Antonio. I thought would be a great fit if they would be willing to make some changes. But they're number 1. I think this was because it was a wish list, in my opinion. They said the New York Knicks. I don't know if the Knicks have enough to give up. They'd have to give up some of their stars. I don't think they've got enough as far as draft picks and stuff to give up. I think San Antonio is a really good spot because San Antonio could give up a lot with draft picks and things. So I think if they wanted him, and I'm not saying they'd want Giannis. I don't know. I mean, who wouldn't want Giannis? But you know what I mean. It's what their plan is. Does that fit their plan? I mean, maybe not. So Jay, what do you think of that list? You think that sounds about right? And who do you think the favorite to get him is, if somebody does get him?
Yeah, in terms of what you can give out of the list as you just named, I think the Rockets probably have a good shot at it because I would imagine, and I got this on ESPN because they were talking about it too, and they have proposed giving up. And look, if you're going to bring in Giannis, it's going to have to be a lot, right? They're not just going to give up Giannis for nothing. So I think the Rockets would have to give up that 23-year-old center in Sagoon. I think they'd probably have to give up Fred VanVleet. That point guard, and then they're probably going to have to give up a first rounder unprotected at 27 that they got from Phoenix Suns. I think that might, out of the list you gave, that might be the most enticing because then they would go to a center that's not as good as Giannis, but he's only 23 and he still has a very big upside. And then you also get a point guard and a first round pick, right? Now, what they proposed on ESPN, I thought sounded kind of interesting. The Atlanta Hawks might have the best chance because they would probably get Giannis and Cole Anthony, and then the Bucks would get Trae Young and Zachary Reicher. But then they would also get 2026, 27 first rounders, 29 first rounder, 31 unprotected in 2032. And a 2031 first rounder, top 4 protected in 31, if eligible, otherwise unprotected in 32. That's what they proposed. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of first rounders. Plus, you're getting Trae Young. I mean, that's a pretty big haul right there. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta snuck up in there because they have a lot of capital to really give forward.
Yeah, I think the team that gets them is going to be with draft picks. I don't think you'll get. I'm not saying you're not going to give up some players, but I think the walking situation they're going to be in, they're going to want as many draft picks as they can get and number ones. That's just my opinion. Chris, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I think if they do something with Houston, I don't think the Bucks are going to want VanVleet and Sagoon. I think the Bucks would require Sagoon and Amen Thompson, and then some picks. I think it was what the Bucks would ask for. I'm not saying Houston would do that, but I think the Bucks are going to get Amen Thompson and Sagoon. I don't think VanVleet's going to be the player that they're going to want.
And you're probably right. Yeah, I agree with that.
But like I said, I don't know if Houston would do that because I don't think Houston would give up on. I don't think Houston's going to give Thompson away. But far far as Giannis, now he got hurt last night, so
Oh, okay.
that's going to be interesting to see. I think it might be. I think it's a calf or something. Some kind of calf strain or
Non-contact.
something.
I guess he just fell down. That's what he did.
So I mean that could put a little bit of a wrench in it. But Dad, I agree that they're going to want some picks, but they might want more players than picks because, yeah, you can get first round picks. But say they trade him to, let's say they trade him. Let's for instance say they trade him to the Rockets, and you get 3 first round picks from the Rockets, unless you can get a third team involved, where you're getting the picks from that other team. Because if you get the Rockets picks, if they have Giannis, they're probably going to be terrible first round picks if it goes like they think it is. So I think if they're going to go get picks, they're going to try to get a team that has, say, like a team that has somebody else's picks and say, we want those picks. We don't want your picks. We want the other picks that you have that you already traded for.
Let me ask you this.
But then, hold on. Now that isn't a Rocket pick, though. It's a Rocket pick, but it's actually from Phoenix. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think it would be based on Phoenix's schedule.
That's what I'm saying. If they're going to trade for picks, they're going to make sure they do it like that, where it's a pick that team has, but it's from somebody else.
Team, right?
Because if not, they can end up screwing themselves because them picks will be real late in the first round.
That's true. But I can see maybe instead of going like 5 picks instead of like with Atlanta, maybe 2 picks and a couple of players. So, I mean, I think it'd be more of a mix. I don't disagree, but Atlanta, if you trade Trae Young away and you add Giannis to Atlanta, does Giannis to Atlanta, the way Atlanta's built right now, does that make them a top 4 team?
I don't think so.
Especially if you take Trae Young off of it. So, I mean, you still might get some decent picks there. I mean, maybe not later on, but maybe the first couple of years you still might get some decent picks. It'd be interesting. I think San Antonio has got a lot to give. Again, though, Giannis going to San Antonio, kind of the same thing. But I don't know. I think some of the picks San Antonio's got is picks from other teams too. So that might work out. That might work out.
I think if he does end up somewhere, I think it's going to be the Knicks. I think the Knicks will give up. They'll give up Karl Anthony Towns and another player or two, and then draft picks or whatever. I think Milwaukee might do that, but I for some reason I think I kind of have a gut feeling he's going to finish out at least this season in Milwaukee. I don't think anything's going to happen to the end of the season.
All right, that's possible. Guys, let's talk a little UFC. Chris, I think. What do you think? First of all, of this card, we're going to go over the whole card. I thought maybe just the 2 main events, but what do you think of the card for this Saturday?
It's a pretty good card. I mean, you have Merab Dvalishvili fighting, which is one of my favorite fighters. So anytime he fights, I'm going to like the card. But you have this card. You have a lot of names on here that people that maybe don't watch UFC all the time might know, like Henry Cejudo. A lot of people know who Cejudo is. He's Olympic champion. He's fighting on the card. He's on the main card. Brandon Moreno. A lot of people know him because he's been a champion. So I mean, there's a lot of big names on this card. So it should be a pretty good card.
What do you think about the 2 main events?
In the main event, I like Merab Dvalishvili against Jan. They fought. This would be the second time they fought. First time they fought, Dvalishvili won by unanimous decision, 50-45. Jan wouldn't. Dvalishvili was able to take him down and just basically beat the hell out of him. Jan's gonna have to find a way to try to keep this fight on their feet, and I just don't think he's gonna be able to do it. Hardly nobody can keep up with Dvalishvili's pace. Like the dude is like a damn machine. He never gets tired. I really like Merab in this fight. I think it's going to be a lot like the first fight.
And Merab don't even breathe hard. He'll go 5 rounds and he's not even breathing hard.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, I think boxers and UFC, those types of fighters, boxing really, because the amount of you're floating around. I mean, the cardio those guys got to have to go 12, 13, 14, whatever it is, rounds are doing. I mean, that's incredible. I couldn't do that. There's no way. I would puke.
These 2 fights here, the main event and co-main event, if they go all 5 rounds, would be 25 minutes.
Yeah, God, that's crazy.
And I've seen that dude fight 25 minutes like that. Not even be, like Dad said, not even be breathing hard. It's crazy. The dude he's moving the whole like he's fighting the whole time. He don't.
Right.
It ain't like he's taking time off. That dude, he's like I say, he's a machine.
Jay, but the big thing, Chris, before you give your prediction on the second fight, the main event, second main event, co-main event, whatever, is these guys train incredibly hard. A lot of it comes down to mentality because you can break mentality-wise and get tired, believe it or not. I mean, even though you've did all these rounds and all these times, in training, so physically, there's no way you should get tired. But a guy can break you mentally, in different ways. In different ways where you will get tired. I mean, if you lose your mental stuff, you can be in trouble. So, and that's in high school wrestling, Olympic wrestling, college wrestling, same thing in boxing and in UFC. So yeah, if you can get in somebody's head, you could destroy them that way easier than you can trying to be in better shape than them.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think about this second fight, co-main event?
I think it could maybe be a decent fight, but I like Alexander Pantoja in this fight. I think Pantoja is going to be too much for him. They haven't fought before. They do have a common opponent in that Brandon Royval, or Royval, however you pronounce his name. Pantoja submitted him once and beat him by a unanimous decision once. And Van's last fight was against that Royval and beat him by unanimous decision. I remember watching that fight. The key in this fight is going to be for Van to have a chance to win. He has to keep it on the feet. If he don't if he can't stop Pantoja from taking him down, he's going to get either submitted or he's going to get stopped. Pantoja is just so good on the ground and he's so good at getting takedowns. He's not bad on his feet, but yeah, I think Pantoja is going to win this fight by submission.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with both those. Jay, me or you could never be commentators for UFC because we can never say any of these damn names. That's why I let Chris pronounce. That's why I let Chris pronounce all these names.
I don't do fighters like I don't do hockey. If you got too many consonants next to each other, I don't know what consonant do you choose out of like 4 consonants next to each other or these symbols. I don't get
you think I just call him Murab because I don't even want to try to say his last name. That's why I just call Murab.
I've got down Murab wrote down. I got Jan, Van, and Panchoya. I didn't even try the other parts of the names because there's no way I could say them, so I wasn't even going to try it. All right,
you must be a commentator for those games, like calling it like live, like in the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Let's move on to a little bit of baseball. First thing for baseball is there's a report going around about Toronto Blue Jays. I guess Kyle Tucker and them are in talks. So what would you think about Toronto going and adding another really good player, another bat, and Tucker to their team? Could that put them over the top? Chris, what do you think? If they was to get him.
I mean, it's going to definitely help them if they get him. But I don't think that offense was all their problem. I think they need to tighten up that pitching staff a little bit. But I mean, getting a guy like Tucker is definitely going to help. But I think if they want to move up a little farther this year than they did last year, they got to tighten up that pitching staff a little bit.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Tucker for years. He definitely has my endorsement. I was really sad when he left the Astros. Almost to the point of
we heard about it every day for a few weeks.
Yeah, man, almost to the point of devastation. I had to go to therapy for a little while to get over it. And I'm still in therapy, so let that tell you what it is. No, a guy like Kyle Tucker, man, he's a leader. He's got a good defensive glove. He can cover the outfield like a champ. Good, solid bat. You can put him in the middle of the rotation, beginning of the rotation, whatever. He's very versatile. He's fast. He can steal bases. I think he's a 5-tool type of guy. And I mean he's been in a lot of conversations in terms of how well he hits the ball. So I haven't really looked at all of Toronto's needs. I'm probably more like what Chris said, though. You can never go wrong adding pitching. I don't think they have enough pitching. I think a lot of teams don't have enough pitching, especially with all the Tommy Johns and all the injuries that they've gone through over the last 2 years. Pitching is kind of hard to find right now. to the point where they're bringing in like Sonny Gray to Boston on these crazy terms. I mean, that's kind of shows you how it is. So it's a good pickup if they can get him there. He will reunite with George Springer, another former Astro. So that I guess I'll have that bond there if he decides to go. I've also heard him linked to Houston. But I also know that Houston has been linked to possibly letting Jake Myers go. There's been a lot of Chad rumors that he might get traded, and that would open up a center field spot. So if that does happen, but the Astros have a lot of outfielders too. So I don't think Kyle Tucker is going to be on their list. But yeah, Kyle Tucker, no matter what team gets him, he's a good teammate. He's not a cancer, and he produces.
Well, what pitcher did Boston just get?
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray. Yeah, I seen he said in the interview he was 100% thrilled to be a Boston Red Sox because the Red Sox hate the Yankees just as much as he does.
What's up, Alacon?
Hey, congratulations, House got his credentials to go to AEW Collision, I believe. And he just got those. I know he was trying to get them and had struggled to get them. Finally, they told him, okay, he was at the AEW show last night. I'm glad he brought that up. I'll go ahead and bring it up. Some wrestlers from Indiana did compete. The one I talked about, but I didn't want to give it out because if something happened and they were supposed to perform and it got moved and they ended up doing it at the end of the show. So they did get to perform the highlight reel. One of the best tag teams in the Midwest. They're outstanding. Twin brothers. They was on. There was a taping for Ring of Honor, but it's AEW. It was at the Dynamite show last night. Okay. But it was a Ring of Honor taping. They got to compete in a tag team match on the show. It'll be on Ring of Honor, one of the shows in the next week or so, I imagine, because it was taped. But congratulations to them. And there was some other Jake Ullman, who one of the best, a guy that I don't understand, not wrestling on one of the big companies right now because he's that good. He's that knowledgeable.
Hey, no problem, Alacon, man. Hey, we're all here to support each other, man. Good job doing what you're doing. Keep it up, brother.
Yeah, he got to go to the show. He's been a wrestling manager, wrestling personality, does great wrestling podcasts. So check out In Your House. Go to YouTube or any other. I know they've been rated on the podcast format. You go to Apple and these different things. I don't know a lot about that because I've never listened to a podcast like that. I always check them out on YouTube, but they've been rated. They're a fantastic show. Him and his team do a great job.
He said it was great for their territory. They had a lot of talent there. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of talent from Indiana there because the show was in basically Indianapolis, Fishers. But,
Fishers, Indiana.
There was a lot of talent. A lot of talent from around here got used for that Ring of Honor show, and that's pretty cool.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, Rachel Armstrong, a very, very good female wrestler from Indiana. I think she's from New Hope, Indiana, or New Chicago, Indiana, actually up north, but it's in Indiana. But she wrestled trained at the WCWO, one of the big ones that me and Chris is affiliated with. She's right now training this week with a bunch of other really good independent wrestlers with Bailey from WWE. WWE's Bailey. It's not WWE, it's Bailey herself. They're taking 10, 15 women, and she's training these women, working with these women this week. And Rachel was one of the women that she's working with. And because Rachel's one of the better female wrestlers on the independent scene. And I think there's a good chance we could be seeing her on TV in the near future. So shout out to her too. And congratulations to her and the highlight reel. We know them and we're big fans of them. And I'm glad they're getting some opportunities. So one last topic, guys, for baseball that I had was manager Dave Roberts from the Dodgers, World Series champion Dave Roberts, says that he would be all right, wouldn't have a problem with the salary cap, even though they paid, I think $410 million last year for their team.
Yeah.
It's definitely a wrestling state. But yeah, Jay, your thoughts on do you think that Roberts is just bullshit, or do you think he really means that?
I'm curious why he would say he'd be in favor of a cap, knowing that his team, just spent a boatload of money on that. I mean, I would think Dave would not want the cap, so that way they could could, because LA's got money, right? They could continue to buy their championships. Now you put a cap on it. But again, I mean, how does it, Chris, you might be the best one to ask about this because I don't know how this plays. So being all the deferred money that LA has, obviously it doesn't count against the cap, but at some point, don't they have to still deal with all that money in a future cap if they put a cap there? How would they do that?
Yeah, see, I'm not sure how they would handle the deferred money like that because I don't think none of the other really sport leagues. Well, I guess I don't think any other sport leagues really let you do it like that. Well, then NFL. Well, I guess NFL did a little bit, and I think it affects. Let me try to think for a minute because in NFL the Chiefs kind of done that with Patrick Mahomes' contract, where when he signed that like $500,000 or $500 million contract or whatever it was, and they he gets a lot of money toward the end before they restructured it. I think what it does is the years you push it back to whatever them years are, whatever you owe them that year would count against your cap is what I think. I think that's how they do it in the NFL, but I'm not. Like I said, I'd have to do some research on it to be 100% sure.
Because I'm thinking that when you got hundreds of millions deferred, at some point those hundreds of millions are going to have to be paid and then come onto the cap. And I wonder how that's going to affect their roster, however much money they have in that roster.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because I know Chris brought this up. He told me before he didn't know how they would do a cap because it's got so out of hand. So
absolutely.
So because if the Dodgers right now last year spent $410 million, let's say they come in and say, okay, the cap from now on is going to be no more than $350 million. So the Dodgers are already over that, and then like you said, you got all this deferred money. So. Right. I mean, the Dodgers, I wouldn't say be screwed. They're still going to be a good team. But there have to be some big changes made. And not just them. The Yankees spend a lot of money. Mets spend a lot of money. There's a lot of teams that spend a lot of money. Of course, the Dodgers spend the most. And that deferred money was the big difference. I mean, that was the big difference this year when they started doing that. I don't know how they would put it in. I think a lot of teams would fight about it. And, I mean, it could be a strike. And if there's another strike, I don't know if baseball can come back from it.
I don't think it's the teams that are going. I don't think it's the teams that are going to fight. I think the team. Right. I think the teams are all. I think the teams would be fine if there's a salary cap.
Yeah.
I don't think the owners don't care that there's a salary cap. It's going to be the players. That's going to be the ones that players aren't going to take that pay cut.
Yep.
I'm interested though. So is it a truly hard cap like the NFL, or is it more like the NBA where if you go above that threshold, you got to pay taxes?
I don't know what
depends on what they decide. Depends on what they can get in. Whatever they can get approved.
Yeah,
because I'll be honest with you, LA makes enough damn money that if it was a cap and then they just got to pay some taxes on it, I think they'd pay the taxes on it. I don't think that. Yeah. I think they make enough income that they would pay the taxes and keep moving. My thing is,
I think it'd be more like a hard cap because if you look, even the NBA is changing their rules. To prevent teams from going getting in that luxury tax so much because then they start penalizing you draft picks and assets you can trade and other stuff. So I would say if MLB does try to get a salary cap, I would say they're going to try to get closer to like the NFL model than the NBA because you already see the NBA trying to get away from that luxury tax stuff.
And I can see the owners being in favor of the cap because, hey, it saves them money.
Yeah. Right? And really, manager-wise, I mean, like Chris said, it's going to affect the players. I mean, Roberts is going to coach whatever he has on the field, So, I mean, and he's only going to make so much money. I don't think he counts against the cap, so he don't give a shit.
That's why I think Roberts was telling the truth when he said that he didn't care.
It's not going to affect him.
Because, it's not really going to affect him.
Hey, it's not my money. Do what you got to do, boo boo. But I think at some point, if they put, like Chris said, if they put a hard cap in there, and this deferred money hits at some point, it's going to bite them. They're going to have to take a step back financially or competitively, get rid of all this money, and then start over again. I can't imagine unless they defer it for like 100 years, but nobody's going to go 100 years in deferment. So at some point, you're going to have to pay $1 billion worth of money.
I hope they can get a cap. I think a cap's needed. I really do. I mean, the Dodgers are going to be the favorites to win again this year. I mean, and I'm not yelling sour grapes. I'm not. I mean, if my Reds team ain't good enough to beat them, not good enough to beat them. But let's make the playing field a little bit more level. Where and I don't think the Reds are ever going to spend top money. I mean, no matter if they make even if they make the cap $300 million, I don't think the Reds are ever going to spend that kind of money. I mean, it is what it is. So I'm not. But I think it could make it the opportunity. You couldn't go over that would help level the playing field. And I'm not saying it would be 300,000. I'm just throwing out a number. But I just like to see the playing field be a little bit more level. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're just crying because the Dodgers win every year." Well, you're not crying because you're a Dodgers fan. so
The other thing is, where was all these people asking for a salary cap when the Yankees was the one that was buying all the championships?
True. I mean,
Hey, I guarantee you, I was one saying it. Hey, why are we letting them?
Yankees did it. The Yankees did it for years. Boston has spent a ton of money. Boston spent a ton of money. The Mets has spent. It ain't worked out for the Mets that much, but they've spent a ton of money. I mean, I think they get one championship, didn't they? Maybe did the Mets get one? Yeah, they got one. So
yeah. What I think they should do is hope. Wait a minute, I'm reading what House put. I hope
Hey, let me before y'all go. Let me. I was gonna wait.
I agree, House. I agree, House.
Hey, since Chris addressed it, let me just because I didn't want to address. I was gonna let this slide because I thought maybe Alarcon Jerome House. Yeah, I thought maybe he went outside. It was cold. He slipped because maybe he's got his little ear pods in and he hit his head on the back of the black guy. I can get that, but I think House. And no offense to this. Hey, if you want to come on the show, we always improve endorsements. You're kind of a dick. It's okay.
Hey,
I think he said that because he knows I'm a Cowboys fan. But just remember, hold on. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. Just remember, we're a Cowboys, and we ride Colts. We're Cowboys, right. And we ride Colts, and we're gonna ride you all the way to victory lane, baby.
Hey, so you know, House is a Colts fan. He's a Pacer fan.
I know he is.
He's an Indiana fan.
House is right. America wins when the Cowboys lose. I like that.
I can't argue that point. I mean,
well, you could, but you don't want to.
Well, Jay, I'm gonna be honest, Jay. I like you, but I like House better.
Hey, but hold on. But here's the thing. Unlike House, you'll get tired of that. You never get tired of Jay McLovin. Not just ass laughing 24/7.
Oh shit.
But anyway, let's move on. But what I was going to say real quick was about the salary cap baseball. I think what they have a better chance of doing than because I don't think they're ever going to get the players agreed to the salary cap the way they've been. I think they have a better chance of putting in a league minimum where each team has to spend at least so much money. I think they have a better chance of doing that, and I think that could help maybe give you a little bit more parity. Because I just don't think they're ever going to give them agree to a salary cap. But the thing is, I don't know if you're going to get some of these owners to agree to that, but. I mean, if you set like a minimum, each team has to spend $200 million or whatever. If there's a minimum, and then at least every team is being forced to try to be competitive.
Yeah,
I think they might have a better chance of getting something like that implemented than a salary cap because like I said, these players are making so much money now that they're not going to take that big of a pay cut.
See, now that's it right there, though. I think that's the biggest talking point right there. And I agree with you, Chris, because I feel like a lot of these teams aren't spending that much. I want to spend like 70, 80, 90, maybe close to 100 million. Come on, man. We need more competitive baseball than that. So I agree with you. I think there should definitely be a minimum. Maybe 150 to 200 million should be the minimum, But again, they need to have a hard cap too, because I mean, some of this spending is just ridiculous.
It's crazy. Well, guys, that's all I've got for today. You guys got anything before we get out of here? One thing I did want to say, tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, me and Chris, Jay can't make it tonight, but normally he would be with us. We're going to debut an NFL show. We're going to talk about Dallas and Detroit will be going on during the show. We'll talk about that a little bit, and we're going to break down a few games, some of the big games, the games are really important this Sunday. Thought we might break down 2 or 3 of those games because there are some big games. Indy and Jacksonville is a very important game for both teams. I mean, almost like a playoff game to a certain degree. Same thing with Cincinnati and Buffalo. It's a must-win kind of, definitely for Cincinnati. If they want to try to get back in things, they have to beat Buffalo. It's a big game for them. Houston and Kansas City, a huge game. Probably more for Kansas City than Houston, but Houston really can't afford to lose either. And Pittsburgh and Baltimore, a huge game. So I thought we'd break down some of that. And me and Chris will be on 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central.
And I will definitely be having you in my ear pods because I am damn sure going to go to a play. I'm not going to pay attention to a fucking play, man. But the wife got this damn thing. I didn't want to go. Do I look like the kind of guy who go to a play? Come on. I'm the guy that would have not a six pack, but I would have the 40 brown paper bag and be drinking. Yeah, that would be me. So I will be listening. I won't be on the show tonight because of that, but I will be that actually has happened. I will tell you. Because my wife is very artsy. They're very artsy people. And her and her son got in this choir that the university or Georgia Southern University was putting on. It was in a church. Everybody's in tuxedos. I mean, it's like you got to pay like all this money to go. Bro, I roll up in a button-down shirt, some blue jeans, and a motherfucking 40 with a brown paper bag and some gummy bears. And she can see everybody around me. But that's,
before we go, I want to tell a little story, and I'll make sure I make it politically correct. But it was kind of funny. My granddaughter had a play a couple weeks ago, and we went to Chicago, and a lot of the people that was in the play was disabled people or little people, and they were mentors for the kids that were in the play. So it was a very interesting play. It was very good. They did a great job. They did 7 or 8, 9 shows over a 2-week period, and it was awesome. But me and my wife are sitting there, and of course, I'm 4'11", my wife's 4'10", so we're very, very small people. We're sitting there, and a lady approaches us. Never seen this lady before. We were in Chicago, didn't know her, and she said, "You have to be so and so's parents. It's so nice to meet you. My son is a mentor for this person." And she was talking about a little person that was, so she definitely thought we had to be the parents to this little person. And I said, no, ma'am, we don't have any kids. I said, we've got a granddaughter at this play. And this lady got so bright red. I mean, she was so embarrassed. I said, ma'am, it's fine. I said, I take no offense to it whatsoever. Me and my wife was laughing. And my son-in-law, he was cracking up. He's about to fall out of a seat. This lady, she went back to her seat. She didn't want to even look at our way anymore. But we weren't upset at all. We didn't have a problem at all, But we thought that was pretty funny. She thought we definitely had to be the parent, the little person, because we were little people too. So I thought that was pretty good.
Wait, hold on. So you're 4'10".
I'm 4'11". Right?
Yeah, oh, you're 4'11".
Yeah, my wife's 14.
And okay, so your wife's about an inch shorter than you. Okay.
Yep.
I'll tell you one thing for sure, man. Did you ever get to ride into the cyclone rides like at the parks? Because you got to be this tall, Chris.
I don't like them anymore.
Tony.
I've been on them, and I about fell out of one many years ago. So I was a kid and about fell out of a roller coaster at Kings Island. My brother Tom had to hold me in because I about went out 2 or 3 times. And so I've never been on. I don't think I've been on I've been on the little Scooby-Doo coaster with my grandkids. That's about as far as I'll go.
I'm 6'5", so I didn't have to worry about that.
6'5".
Not with that damn DNA.
Hey, would you even be? Could we reverse that? Would you even be 5'6"?
I think I'm about 5'6". I'm
right. If you reverse that, it's about right.
Let's be honest.
I'm right up like 5'5", 5'6", right in there.
5'5", 5'6". That's so cute. I'm just playing. No, seriously though. Hey, look, I'm only 5'9". I'm average, right? Dad's about 5'10". Mom's about 5'3". Whatever. It is what it is. I don't want to be too. You don't want to be too tall because that is too damn hard to get in vehicles. You got to be about 5'9", 5'10".
I have problems getting in vehicles, especially some trucks.
I can just see that, man. Hold on a minute, Tony. The rope's coming down. Just put your foot in the loop.
Oh, we've had a couple. We got a buddy that's got a truck, man. I had a hell of a time getting up in his damn truck.
Again, we all want to say thank you for tuning into this show. If you like the
guy that just grab you by your fucking ass and throw you up in there.
Yep, that's true. Hey, well, what about you, Chris?
Because
Have
that
you ever
to me a
got?
couple times.
Hey, Chris, have you ever got stuck trying to get in a car? Arm ever got
Hey, hold on,
caught?
hold on. Now, hold on, Chris. Now you are 5'6", and you're a small frame. I'm gonna guesstimate 5'6". You're probably maybe about 100. You're float between 120, 130.
Yeah, about 130.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about my weight, my fat ass. I just got weighed the other day. I weighed the most I ever weighed in my life. I've been telling my wife for about 3 or 4 years I weigh about 143. She said, "You don't weigh 143." I said, "Yes, I do." I went to the doctor. No, I weigh 155. So no, I don't weigh 143.
Look, man, I went to the damn doctor yesterday for an appointment for the orthopedics, and they always weigh you when you go in. I said, I'm about 205. Man, I go on that motherfucker. That bitch said 215. And the dude looked at me and said, 205, my ass. He's a veteran too, so that's how we all talk to each other. I mean, if you're not cussing at the VA, you're not doing it right. But yeah, so apparently I'm fat. So I'm trying to lose weight, but yeah.
I want to lose weight. I just want to stop eating. So we got an issue.
Like what that dude say on that one show? Look, girl, if you just stop eating, maybe your body will eat your ass. I fucking love that. That's one of my best lines ever. Hey, if you're a short person, a heavy set person, or a skinny person, please don't take offense, as we are too. And we hope you've enjoyed our content. And make sure you give us a subscribe on our YouTube channels at Gonzo Sports Room on YouTube, as well as Elite Sports and Entertainment Network YouTube. And like Tony and Chris said, they will be on tonight. Chris, what's the name of the tonight's the NFL show? So I didn't see the NFL show. What is the NFL show name?
You'll find out tonight at 10 o'clock.
And there you have it, folks. And there you have it. There's the hook. There's the hook.
If you want to know the name, you got to tune in.
You better have your
And
earbuds
there's
in.
the hook. Just like a true professional. That's what we are. We're true professionals.
Oh God.
Love this. Y'all have a good one. We're outie.